Welcome to More with the Mac. JP Reloaded. We're gonna have some short demos. We're gonna have some Q&A. We might even have some special guests stop by. So sit back, relax, gather your notes and ask questions and enjoy More with the Mac. JP Reloaded. Welcome. This is the pilot, I guess you could say, of More at the Mac, JP Reloaded. First of all, let me give honor to my mentor. That's where the name JP Reloaded part came from, John Panarese. Just in case you didn't know, passed away a little over a year ago. He had cancer. So we lost a great mentor, teacher, and I lost a great friend. So that's where that came from. My next preface is going to be, I grew up on Windows. I go all the way back to MS-DOS. Even before that, the Mac IIe back in 1987, where you had to take the top of the panel off just to plug in your headset into a sound card. So I've been around computers probably for the last 42 years. But again, I grew up on Windows. MS-DOS, Windows 95, 98, XP, Vista 7. Then 2010, I jumped over to the Mac. And the Mac is 100% accessible out of the box. This course is going to teach you the basics as well as some advanced stuff. But again, like I put on the webpage, and if you haven't seen it, go to stiritup.com. That's STURITUP.com, and click on the More with the Mac page. That will tell you everything about this course, and even has a few episodes with my mentor John Panarese on there, teaching you about the voiceover utility, teaching you about the system settings, the new layout, and how to get the most out of your Mac. I'm not here to badmouth Windows. I use Windows every day for my workplace. And I even had to go back to Windows back in 2022 when I worked at Target Corporate. But the Mac is my passion. The Mac has a lot to offer. And the reason I call this course More with the Mac, because I think you get more with your Mac. That's just my opinion. You know, some might, I'm not going to say might, some will disagree with me. Some think that the PC is the end-all be-all. The Mac or the PC or even Linux is not the end-all be-all. You have to go with what works for you. But I will tell you, if you are a Windows user and you're trying out the Mac, or you're trying to see what it's all about, please, 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 do not come to Mac expecting Windows functionality, Windows commands, Windows results. The Mac and Windows are there's different as night and day. VoiceOver JAWS or NVDA or narrator, different as the moon and the sun. They're not the same. Different key commands, different ways to do things, different ways to get things done. So, if you're coming from Windows and you've never touched an Apple device, I would say act like you've never had assistive technology ever. Not one time. Now, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can convert some of those skills as it relates to the touch screen on your Mac if you have a trackpad. Now, me personally, I don't use a trackpad. I'm a keyboard person. I don't like the trackpad, the touchpad, whatever you want to call it on the Mac. Some people love it. Some people swear by it. but that's not my preference. And that's the nice thing about Mac and PC. You have different choices for different folks, different strokes. You know what I'm saying? But again, the Mac and the PC are not the same. Please, 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 people on websites, different blogs, Facebook, X, Mastodon, LinkedIn, stop saying that the Mac is bad just because you didn't spend enough time with it. I'm going to tell you right now, I started using the Mac in 2010. I wasn't 100% comfortable with the Mac and everything that I needed to get done with it until probably 2014 or 15. Now remember, back in 2010, we did not have a Mac mailing list. We did not have Apple support with the Mac for VoiceOver. We just had a mentor like John Panarese. My buddy Tim Kilburn, rest in peace. He passed away a couple of years ago from a brain tumor. He was an excellent Mac resource. So that means that back then you had to be self-taught. I had 3 PCs in the house. I sold both laptops and desktops. I did not want to have an excuse to revert back to Windows at all. So I sold all 3. Went out and bought my Mac. It was an iMac 27-inch back then, i7, with 4 gigs of RAM. I eventually upgraded it to 16 gigs of RAM, installed it myself, something else that, the Mac allowed you to do. You don't do that no more. It's all, soldered to your motherboard and all that other stuff, technical stuff that I probably don't know that much about. But again, like I said, I grew up on Windows, and I did not have lists and all this. I self-taught, and then eventually in 2015 or 16, I think it is when I stumbled across John Panarese's website. He became a great friend, a great mentor, and like I tell everybody, John knew it all about the Mac and VoiceOver. Terminal, VoiceOver utility. I don't think he ever dabbled into Xcode or, app development or things like that. But if John didn't know it, Apple hadn't invented it yet. That's how I'll say that. VoiceOver in the Mac, accessibility, troubleshooting, all that. But this course, we're gonna have John, a couple of his recordings pop in here, because there's no use in reinventing the wheel, especially when it has not changed. But again, I will stress, do not come to the Mac from the PC expecting it to be the same. Also, don't expect to learn it overnight. It's not an overnight process. Even with all the blogs and tutorials and the built-in quick start guide and all that you can do, you're not going to learn the Mac overnight. Number one, you have to be patient. There's different key commands, there's different key combinations, there's different ways of doing things on the Mac. But there's multiple ways of doing it. You got the VoiceOver modifier. Let's talk about that modifier real quick, because I'm going to let you know one thing that will never, ever happen for me. Apple has made it Apple has made it so people coming from the PC are more comfortable. So in the last few years, they have implemented the use of the caps lock key to be the VoiceOver modifier instead of the Control and Option key. You will never, ever catch Cliff using caps lock as a VoiceOver modifier. To me, that's too Jaws-ish, Windows-ish. I said I would never buy the Magic Keyboard for the iPad. That was a joke. But this, using caps lock as the VoiceOver modifier, I will never, ever do. I'm either going to use Quick Nav, or I'm going to use my modifiers of Control and Option. Located at the bottom of your keyboard, right next to the Function key, Globe key, whatever you want to call it. If you have a Apple Magic Keyboard. If you have a third-party keyboard, you're just going to have to turn on VoiceOver keyboard help with VoiceOver keys and the letter K. You can also use your VoiceOver modifier in the letter K if you choose. out the box, voiceover modifier is caps lock and VO keys, which are control and option. You can go change that if you want. I did because I don't use caps lock as my voiceover modifier. Never have, never will. I will give up quick nav before I use the voiceover modifier as caps lock. That one you can take to the bank. But again, there are multiple ways of doing things. We will go over these things in this course. Of course, we'll go over the basics. How to navigate, how to put stuff on your dock, how to remove stuff from your dock, how to download and install apps. We're going to go over pages, numbers, and Keynote. We'll have my buddies from ttjtech.net. I'm sorry, it's ttjtech.biz now, my fault. But we'll have him come in and touch on pages and numbers a little bit because he uses his iPad 100% for his business, 100%, and those skills will carry over to the Mac. So he's going to come over and do that for us. But as for messages and mail, I'll be demonstrating those extensively. I love the fact that messages is on the Mac because you could have a conversation on your phone or your iPad and pick it up on your Mac. Workflow, I love the fact that you can multitask. I can send a quick message to my mom and continue writing that document in Pages or text edit, or go finish up that note or grocery list. So just know that coming to the Mac is going to be a process. You have to be patient. You can't just have it for 2 weeks and say, you know what, I give up. This is not working for me. That's not how it works. You have to give it time, because I guarantee you, none of you that use JAWS and Windows learned JAWS and Windows overnight. It didn't happen in 2 weeks. I know it didn't happen in 2 weeks for me. Yes, am I official with JAWS and Windows? Oh, absolutely. I have to be, number one, because I work with it, and number two, like I told you before, I grew up on Windows. I was with Windows from 2000 or 1993 or 4 all the way up till 2010. Then I discovered the iPhone and Mac, and I jumped into that ecosystem. Dumped Windows completely in 2014, or maybe it was 15, and had to come back to it for the corporate world in 2022. Because that's one thing that the Microsoft and Windows JAWS does. They do dominate the corporate world. Most, if not many, corporate agencies, the Hyatt, hotel, whatever it is, Target, they use JAWS and Windows for their accessibility for people who need assistive technology. But when I'm at home, publishing my podcast, editing audio, checking email, sending messages, browsing the web, my Mac Studio is where I'm at. Now, when I'm on the move, it's my iPad Pro M5. Bought that stuff for my birthday and Christmas back in December. But at home, it's all about my studio, baby. My Mac Studio that has 96 gigs of RAM, a 2 terabytes of hard drive. I'm telling you, this machine, it whistles, baby. It does not slow down. I could be editing a podcast, watching something on Prime Video, and browsing the internet all at the same time, and there won't be no hiccups. But again, we'll get into all that. But yes, we'll go over mail, pages, notes, numbers, Safari for sure. Somebody asked for music. That app is pretty basic. All about predictable patterns. Knowing how to navigate, because Apple is consistent across the board on how they design their apps. They are. If it's an Apple app, 9 times out of 10, or maybe even 10 times out of 10, it's going to be laid out the same. There might be a few exceptions, so I'm not going to say all of them are like that. And when developers do apps, they pretty much follow the same thing. The left-hand menu always be in the Apple menu. The second column is always going to be the app you're in, so it'll say like music or messages, and the next is usually going to be your file menu, edit. Then you'll have different options like view, format, stuff like that, depending on where you are. So let's take a little look at what I want you to do is take a look at I wish this code would go away. Anyways, how to use the VoiceOver utility or the VoiceOver Quick Start guide. So
Finder. Yeah.
So to get to the VoiceOver Quick Start, you could do it a few different ways. I tend to do VOHH, or VOH, I should say.
VoiceOver help menu, 5 items.
And you hear it say 5 items.
User guide control option question mark.
That's the user guide where you can go in and use, navigate and, look around and poke around and see what you might want to look at. And you heard it gave you a shortcut key. Let's go back up.
User guide control option question mark. User guide control option question mark.
Now remember, control option is the VoiceOver modifiers on the keyboard, plus the caps lock. So you could use control option question mark, which would actually add the shift key to the what is this? The backslash? Yeah. No, the slash. I'm sorry.
Commands help menu control option HH.
All right. So if you want to get to your commands list and the categories, VOHH, command option HH, or that pesky caps lock modifier.
Keyboard help control option K.
Control option K. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you're ever in a document, an email, a message, whatever, and you're like, what is that key again? And you can't remember it. You can press VOK, command option K, and press any key on your keyboard or combination of keys, and VoiceOver will tell you what that key is. That's how you get keyboard help. To get out of it, you hit escape.
Sounds help menu.
This is a sub menu. It basically will tell you what each sound does, and you can listen to it. We're not going to go into that right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Quick start tutorial control option FN command 8.
There we go. Quick start tutorial. Let's see what he said again.
Sounds help. Quick start tutorial control option FN command 8.
Control option FN8. Now that's a lot of keys. I'm assuming if you have your FN keys set to work as function keys, all you gotta do is press command or control option and F8. I don't know because I use a third-party keyboard, but we're gonna go in here and I'm gonna let you look at hear a little bit of this.
The VoiceOver modifier. On each page of this tutorial, you'll learn a new VoiceOver command. VoiceOver may be restricted on some pages to enable practicing the gesture taught. Performing any VoiceOver command requires pressing the VoiceOver modifier keys, along with one or more other keys, at the same time. Typically, the VoiceOver modifier keys are Control and Option, or just the caps lock key. Now practice pressing the Control Option Space keys together to move to the next page. 1 update item. You've completed all the steps on this page. Moving to the next page, select the next item. VoiceOver automatically reads aloud a selected on-screen item, like text or a button. You can control which item is selected by moving the selection. To select the next on-screen item, press Control Option right arrow. Press Control Option right arrow now to move to the next page. 1 updated item. You've completed all the steps on this page. Moving to the next page, select the previous item. You just practiced the command to select the next item. To select the previous on-screen item, press Control Option left arrow. Press Control Option left arrow now to move to the next page. 1 updated item. You've completed all the steps on this page. Moving to the next page, activate an item. Some items can be activated, which performs their default action. This is similar to clicking the mouse on the item or pressing a button to submit a form. To activate the selected item, press Control Option Space. Press Control Option Space now to move to the next page. 1 updated item. You've completed all the steps on this page. Moving to the next page, practice navigating. Now you'll practice the commands you just learned by navigating a practice page. All practice pages like this will have steps to complete, a practice area, and buttons to go to the next or previous page. When you complete a step, you'll hear a sound and VoiceOver will announce the next step. Press Control Option right arrow now to navigate to the first step. 1 update item. This is the first step. Press Control Option right arrow to select the button labeled Practice. Practice. Step completed. Now press Control Option right arrow to move to the button labeled Next page. Step completed. Now press Control Option Space to activate it. Next page. Select the item above or below. Some items are arranged vertically, like menus, lists, and tables. Use Control Option up arrow to move selection vertically upwards, and Control Option down arrow to select an item below. Press Control Option right arrow to hear the first step to practice these commands.
Okay, so you get the idea. So go back into that VoiceOver Quick Start tutorial by VO, which is Command Option. It says FN and then F8. But I'm assuming, don't quote me on this, but I'm assuming if you have your function key set to act as function keys, you don't need the FN key. So try it both ways. Or you can do it the way that I did it with VO, which is Command or Control Option and the letter H, arrow down to Quick Start tutorial, hit enter, and follow the prompts. I actually go in there probably every 2 or 3 months because boy, sometimes Apple sneaks some new stuff in there that I didn't even know about, and I'll learn something new. So they update it all the time. Now, I would, even if you're a seasoned or an experienced Mac user, I highly, highly, highly recommend going in there and checking that out. So remember, I'm not bashing them Windows because Windows pays my bills. Windows and JAWS, I teach that daily. You know, different courses where I work at the CCRC in Austin, Texas. That stands for Chris Cole Rehabilitation Center and Adjustment to Blind Center. We teach people. I work in the tech department, so we teach Word, PowerPoint, Excel. You know, everything Windows that you could think of. We even have some Mac classes. But anyways, I'm not bashing Windows. Windows is a great platform, especially because it's highly used in the corporate place. But Mac is my passion. I have a podcasting suite that I use with Farrago, my buddies over at Rogue Amoeba. What else do they have on there? Sound Source, which enhances the sound of your audio in your headset or maybe your speakers. Then I have Audio Hijack, which I record with and can have different sounds come into that. Use different apps to record with, like Zoom or Clubhouse or even Microsoft Teams. And then, of course, we got Loopback, which is basically a built-in mixer where you can have different combinations of a headset and a microphone or sound effects or anything. Go check them out at RogueAmoeba.com. Great company. Voiceover support, always willing to help and everything. So, but my Mac, again, it is my passion. I prefer the Mac over PC any day of the week, but like I said, my PC pays the bills, which, you know, we all gotta eat, right? So, but Mac, again, it's not gonna happen overnight. Please don't come in here thinking that. VoiceOver and JAWS are not the same. Mac and PC are not the same. Safari and Chrome or what's the other one? Edge are not the same. Now, they do use similar keystrokes. We'll get into that when we get to Safari with, you know, single key letter navigation, you know, edit fields and form fields and things of that nature. Some of those things are similar, but again, you have to come in to this Mac training with an open mind if you've never used a Mac before. If you're an experienced Mac user or know what you're doing, okay, I don't have to tell you that. But people who are thinking about the Mac and want a new experience, please come in with an open mind. Act like you've never touched assistive technology or used a screen reader before, because the experience is going to be 100% different. I guarantee you. So, with that, also, if you have any questions, concerns, a topic, or app you want me to cover, please email me at feedback@stiritup.com. That's FEED, the word back, BACK, at stiritup, STURITUP.com. Feedback@stiritup.com. I answer all emails myself personally. It's not a robot. It ain't AI. I take all suggestions and considerations, and all these podcasts will be up starting the first Monday in February. First Monday in February. I will post one a day starting that day. There will be 1 or 2 live sessions. Subscribe to my newsletter on my website, stiritup.com, and you will be notified when that live session comes, or if you're on one of my email lists. So, I think that's all the information I have for you today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the first episode of More with the Mac, JP Reloaded.